Wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me.
Hey, what's up out there, family and friends? It's your boy, the motivational teacher to the masses, coming again to bring you another edition of Motivational Monday from a remote location, but did not want to miss the opportunity to go live to break this bread. I know some of you all are out there. Let me grab my device right here, because if you don't, you got to share this to your top 5. If you want them to go with you, they got to grow with you. If you would, I'm starting to see the eyes pop on. If you would, holler at your boy and let me know who's out there as I begin to share this to my top 5. For all my replayers, give me about a minute and a half as I share this out to all my people, man, because I want to see people blessed. I want to see people highly favored. I want to see people walking in the promise of which they believe that they can attain. Like, I think, like, in this day and time, like, there's so many people that want to witness somebody else fail, or there's somebody that want to see somebody not attain the highest for themselves. And I'm saying, like, there's a group of us that want to see you accomplish God's best for your life. And if you would, man, share this to 5 people that you know can use this information tonight. Share this to somebody you know that's looking to go to the next level of life and kind of struggling, just don't know how. They know they're not comfortable where they are, but they know it's somewhere I must be. And in order for them to get there, they need this information tonight. Tonight is going to be a different type of Motivational Monday, episode 141 of Awaken Your I Am. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Y'all give me a few seconds as I share this out to my top 5. And if you get this from me, just know, man, I'm looking forward to your growth and development. I'm sharing this because I want to see you get to that next level of life. And you've kind of expressed to me what next level looks like to you. So if you will, give me 30 more seconds. Hey, Vanika, thank you for joining us and for always being right on time. That means so much. And I can see the growth and development that's going on in your life as well at this very moment. So that means a lot. Let me share a couple of more places to a couple of my groups that has expressed interest. All right, let's get to it. If you're out there, I'm starting to see the eyes add up. Holler at your boy. Episode 141, Awaken Your I Am. And tonight, I sort of want to do a wellness check. I've been watching the news. I've been hearing what's going on. Thank you, Vanika. I've been watching what's going on in the news right now. I'm seeing that gas prices are the highest they've ever been, ever. I'm seeing the war in Ukraine have a lot of people, hey, Mom, have a lot of people stressed out about what's going to happen in the world. I see that there's no baby formula right now that many people cannot get. I see gas prices, again, $5. I see cars and interest rates are now on the increase. And then just what happened this weekend in Buffalo kind of tuck it over the top. And so I decided, and I talked to a couple of people that I know that are going through, I'm talking, these are people that are after this life, that are going through some trials and tribulations right now. And it kind of gives me a window into what season we're in the body. And so tonight, I kind of want to do a wellness check, and I want to check in on everybody, because part of Awakening Your I Am is spending time with the great I Am and giving him access to every part of you. And I think sometimes we've learned how to hide behind the pain. We've learned how to hide behind religion. We've learned to hide behind the dream. But I don't think that the great I Am is awakening your I Am to not bring all of you and make all of you present. So I'm saying tonight, it's okay to bring all of you to the party. I want you to bring the part of you that hurts. I want you to bring the part of you that's doubting. I want you to bring the part of you that's happy. I want you to bring the part of you that's sad. I mean, I think that all 5 senses, all 5 feelings should be brought to the forefront of our lives. See, I know that we've been told that God only wants to see the best part of us, or that people only want to see the best part of us. And if I'm having a bad day, that I need to tuck it in and hide it underneath all my good days. But I'm telling you, the great I am uses all of these moments for your edification and your growth. And looking at a season like this and this time in the United States is like, I can see how it could weigh heavily on a lot of people. And so tonight, man, I want to bring you hope. I want to bring you joy. I want to tell you that it's okay that you feel the way you do. I want to tell you that it's okay that you have some doubts. I want to tell you it's okay that sometimes you're in fear. I want to tell you that it's okay and it's natural sometimes to be anxious about an opportunity that you may not feel prepared for. In these moments, you know what it says? And I'm going to get a little bit more into this on this Motivational Monday, but don't worry. Those moments, honestly, are what makes us human. And those moments are the part when the great I am is awakening our deity to override our humanity. Like, I mean, just if we sit back, like my mom just said, and pay attention and observe, like you can sit back and see the situation that a lot of people in the world are in today. They're struggling to pay their bills. People who have balloon mortgages now, interest rates just went up tremendously. People that are in the housing market right now, looking to buy houses, looking to buy cars, like used cars are the price of new cars right now. And I know that there's somebody out there right now whose car they believe that car is at the end of their life, and they plan and they've saved to buy a car right now and cannot afford one because used cars are just as expensive as new cars at this moment. Listen, man, I understand the time that we're living in. And not only do I understand it, but I'm living and facing some of the same challenges. I had a brother reach out to me today that was explaining to me some of his challenges. And this kind of what made me want to do a wellness check, because I know sometimes we get so future forward about where we're going that we negate and we're not present. I talked about it last week, that we're not totally present in the moment that we're in. And I want us to make sure that we're immersed in this moment, knowing that the great I am is awakening our I am to something greater. All right. I don't want us to stay in this moment, but I do want us to know that the great I am is awakening us to something more. Like when I hear these times, when I see these times, it makes me think of one of my favorite verses. He said, "These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In this world you should have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." I have overcome the world. Be in good cheer. Motivational teacher, what you're saying is kind of an oxymoron. Motivational teacher, what you're saying is that in the midst of everything that's going on, I should be in good cheer. Motivational teacher, this situation in my life doesn't look favorable, and it doesn't look like I should be in good cheer. It doesn't look like all my needs are being met. Motivational teacher, you're asking me to overcome. You're asking me to defy everything I see with these eyes and everything that I'm naturally feeling, to be in good cheer, because the great I am has already overcome the world. And I'm challenging you that in this time, in these times like this, that you be of good cheer. I'm asking you that you override what you see with your natural eyes and what you hear with your natural ears. I'm asking you to override that based on what the great I am has awakened your I am to. I'm not going to argue. These times, these are perilous times. These are tough times. But I'm telling you, there's opportunity in the midst of difficulty. There's opportunity in the midst of difficulty. If we're so if we're just so focused on what's going on around us, a lot of times we miss the opportunity. And for a person like us that we're in this world, but we're not of this world, that there's an opportunity in the midst of all these different things that's going on. I'm not like right now, there's some nonprofit, there's some speaker, teacher, prophet that's being birthed from the situation in Buffalo. Those 10 individuals that lost their lives to a hate crime. Right now, there's fueling the passion in somebody deep down on the inside of them. I was talking to an individual today who we was talking about Bloody Sunday in Selma. And that individual was telling me about how when they saw that, it changed their mindset of what they believed about the civil rights movement. See, but when you see it on video, we say, man, it's like and we call it one of the darkest days in American history. But even in the darker days of American history, somebody's passion was being fueled. And I do believe that Bloody Sunday was the turning point in the civil rights movement, because people start having more compassion upon people of color and start understanding the plight that was in America. I had a water somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. Start understanding the plight in America. And so I want you to liven up right now. You know, I don't want you to sit and despair. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. You're in this world, but not of this world. So I'm challenging you to have a different response. I know sometimes in our flesh that we want to act out in a way that's pleasing to this body, that's pleasing to this mind, that's pleasing to these eyes, and we want to make revenge, or sometimes we just want to throw in the towel and say, man, it's too difficult, it's too tough, and it's natural. And it's natural to say, man, like, I've done about as much as I can do. I fought as much as I can fight. I fought with a good fight of faith. I know that these moments are natural. And sometimes we get to that point. But I'm asking you not to trust these eyes and don't trust these ears. I'm asking you to believe that you've already overcome the world. And motivational teacher, why? Because these moments, oh my God, I feel this was everything in me. These moments are more about your growth and development. It teaches us not to believe in and not to trust more in the things that I have stored up than the things that I have on the inside of me. It teaches me not to trust so much in the things that are temporal, but to look to the things that are come, which is on the inside of me. That word trust means a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. What are you rooting your firm belief on today? What foundation do you stand on today? Do you stand on the foundation of CNN or Fox News? What's up, Charles? Thanks for joining us, bro. Or do you stand on the foundation of the great I am and his word for you in your life? I know. Listen to me. I know exactly what some of us is feeling, the rage, the anger. I know exactly what some of us are feeling and saying, man, it happened again. But I'm telling you, don't like the whole, it's unfortunate what happened to George Floyd, but it created a whole movement. Was it sad? Was it unfortunate? Was it called for? The answer is it wasn't called for. Was it sad? Yes, but it created a movement that is still ever going and lasting today. And I'm challenging you, don't trust what you see with your eyes. I'm asking you to trust what the great I am is doing on the inside of you. What is your firm foundation today? What do you stand on? When I love it, because when things get rocky and the winds and the rains are all around us, what foundation do we turn to for comfort? Oh man, that's a bread-breaking moment. Do I turn to the words of my friends, or do I turn to the great I am who's awakening my I am? Do I turn to the one who has the whole world in his hand, that he's been here since the foundation and knew exactly what's going to take place? Well, why does good things happen to bad people? Some people ask that question. Why does good things happen to bad people? I'm telling you, when it rains on the just as well as it does the unjust. It's not that those 10 people over there deserve that. It's not that they, what are they doing in their life to get that? It's not that at all. It's not that at all. It was the heinous act of one individual who was confused and evil. Like God said, he said, I came that you have life and have more abundantly. But the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And see, that's why as long as we're on this side of the dirt, we have to be on purpose. We have to be on purpose. We have to be on purpose. That there's something so special on the inside of us that we gotta get to work. And in order for us to accomplish that goal, it requires that we have a firm and solid foundation found on the great I am who awakens our I am. Vanika chiming into this conversation. Makes you fearful not knowing if there will be copycats, but understand we have to stand on our faith. And there may or there may not be other copycats, and we pray that there isn't. However, we got to keep moving. The opposite of fear is faith. Thank you, Vanika. The opposite of fear is faith. And we got to continue to make that firm belief in what we believe that the great I am is calling us to. Like, there's so much value in our lives. There's so much value to each one of us. Like, there's so much on the inside of each one of us. But we got to learn how not to lean to our own understandings. And I think that's the challenge for a lot of us. We lean to our own understandings instead of in always acknowledging him and allowing him to direct our paths. That motivational teacher, what's the definition of awaken I am? Leaning not to your own understanding. Lean not to you, acknowledge him and allow him to direct your path. That's the awaken I am. That is the definition of the awaken I am. I'm not leaning toward what the world's definition of who I am should be. I'm not leaning toward what they say about how I should feel in this moment. Although we're all, touched by what's going on in this world, but I can't allow that to dictate my reaction. I love it. One of my mentors says, never react, always respond. Respond encompasses that I take careful thought into my next move, into my next situation. It requires that I take careful thought and make sure from this, I guarantee you there will be some nonprofit organizations birthed from this. There will be some new activists. There will be the passion of some other child, some other grandchild. Somebody is going to get activated into their purpose and their call because of this tragedy. And then conversely, somebody is going to become bitter and hate and have hatred because of the same action. And my question to us is, what side of the coin do we stand? My question to us is, how do we remain in good cheer? My question to us, when he said he overcome the world, what does that mean for me and my life, motivational teacher? It means that by no means that nothing can stop you but you. There's no outside force that can hinder the call on your life other than your internal instinct, which says not to fight, to give up, to quit, that you're not worth the value of competing. That's the only thing that stop you from attaining the total will of God for your life. And in the midst of tears, and in the midst of pain, and in the midst of hurt, I'm challenging you to keep moving. By all means, keep moving. And I love studying the life of Dr. Martin Luther King because during the civil rights movement, it was a very, very difficult time for this nation. During the civil rights movement, it caused America to have to look in the mirror how we're giving aid to all the world. But then it caused America to have to look in the mirror and see how we treat our so-called own. And in the midst of that civil rights movement, you see a lot of the icons that I know. I live in the South, John Lewis, you see Elijah Cummings, you see Hosea for the Homeless. Like, all of these movements were birthed from the civil rights movement. You see all of these heroes of the civil rights, they risked something. They gave up something. They went out and fought for something. And my question to you is, what are you willing to fight for? What are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? What change can you make while you're upon this earth? Because if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. I'm going to say that one more time. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And if your goal is to get to that big dream, If your desire is to get to that big destiny, then you have to live in a space where you're challenged and you respond and not react. That I'm taking careful consideration into my next movement and make sure that it's not based upon fear, it's not based upon hurt, it's based upon faith. Yeah, I like that, Vaniqua. Imagine their level of fear, but they still went out on faith. And that's the challenge for a lot of us. You captured that beautifully, Vaniqua. That's the challenge for a lot of us. How do I override? Oh man, this is good. How do I override my emotional state for future good? How do I override what I feel now to make impact eventually? And see, most mere humans only respond out of fear, anger, there's hatred. They're motivated by a lot of those. Like I love Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan is one of those people that are motivated by anger. And trust me, when I say bring all of you, I want you to bring that anger to the party. But you got to use that anger for good. When I want you to bring, like, I'm disappointed, bring it to the party, but I don't react from my disappointment. I don't react from my anger. I respond in love. I respond in faith. I love it when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. And this is another one of these moments where it's an opportunity to say, the great I am who awakens my I am has given me the strength and knowledge to be able to respond in a way that's pleasing and that brings joy to the cause of the movement. I'm telling you, you all, we will, as long as we live, we'll continue to get older. And my question to us is, hey, Angela, thanks for joining us. As we live and we continue to get older, what legacy or impact do we want to leave? What legacy, what impact do we want to leave on this world? And see, I think a lot of us, we live from, and it's a bread-breaking moment, I think a lot of us live from birth to death. And there's nothing, mere humans live from birth to death. And I think people that have big purposes and big dreams lives from death to birth. Because most of us start with the end in mind. I know I'm working to be the DON, the director of nursing. I know I am the motivational teacher to the masses, and I have to respond as if my words have global impact. Oh, that's strong right there. I don't get to pop off of my emotions, because if I pop off on my emotions, I have the ability to move 300,000-400,000 people in a direction that's not going to profit them. I don't have the ability to pop off in my emotions and drive children and generations for time and time again. So I don't have the luxury of reacting, because other people's lives are tied to my words, the other end of my words. So I am always careful about how I respond, because I understand that what I speak carries power. And I can never attain the masses as long as I have loose lips. I can never attain the masses because I can never mobilize in a way that's productive to the kingdom. Why would God trust me with such great asset if I can never use the asset for good? It's a bread-breaking moment. Some of us got $1 million ideas, but we cannot be trusted with the resources at this moment because we react instead of respond. We allow our emotions to dictate my response. Your emotions, man, listen to your boy. If you don't get anything else from me tonight, you cannot be moved by every emotion that you feel. You cannot react or respond from every emotion that you feel. I'm telling you that emotional intelligence is the reason why the CEO runs the company, and emotional intelligence is the reason why people that work for them work for them. I'm challenging you to be a person that don't respond or that doesn't react to the winds and the waves. Stay consistent. Meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, if you can keep your head when all about them are losing theirs, that's a bread-breaking moment. And make an atonement for theirs too. If you can stand to be talked about and not give way to their talking. I'm telling you, the more and more I'm on this journey, I'm learning the more EQ. I don't think this life and this journey is about intellectual quotient. I think the more we grow in EQ, emotional quotient, the more responsibility the great I am can trust our awakened I am too. That's strong. That's strong. If you want more, who was that? Jabez, enlarge my territory. If you want your territory enlarged, then you have to grow in emotional intelligence, EQ. I believe your IQ can stay the same. As long as you're growing in EQ, it gives you the capacity to enlarge your territory. And I think people with reckless lips or with loose lips will never be able to inherit the land because they will do more harm than good in the end. That's why we have to be careful about how we use our gifts, that we have to move with a purpose. Man, come on, Vaniqua, thank you. We got to move with purpose. We got to move as one with authority. Like I'll tell you this, what I do believe, that people, let's use this example, the centurion, that people in authority understands how authority works. When the centurion, when Jesus when Jesus was going to the centurion's house to heal his daughter, the centurion said, no, the centurion is a person like a commander in the army. He said, no, you don't have to come. Speak the word only, and my daughter shall be healed. People in authority understands how authority works. And it's people with no authority, with low level thinking and low emotional intelligence, are the people that feel the need to blab off at every gift. I gotta stand my ground. I gotta let people know how I feel. I mean, I'm telling you, people in authority understands how authority works. Oh, that's a bread-breaking moment. Like, I understand that I am one. Listen, I'm gonna say this. Number one, I am one under authority, the great I am who awakens my I am, but because I am under one who has the supreme authority, my awakened I am is one that's in authority. And when people are in authority and not insecure, they don't feel the need to react to every situation. That's strong, because some of us are wondering why I haven't gotten a promotion or why my business is not taking off, because your emotional intelligence, you feel the need to prove your point. I love the fact that, my wife and I, we went to a restaurant, high-end restaurant, steak restaurant, and my steak, I like my steak medium. Well, they cooked my steak. My steak was, I perceived it was overcooked, and I sent it back. They brought me a new steak, never said a word. Sorry about your wait, Mr. Williams. Let us take 10% off your check. No argument at all. Then we go to another restaurant that is, that is not as that I'm gonna say somebody who doesn't have as much confidence in their work, and they try, and when you say, okay, the potatoes or the lumpy or whatever it is, they take it personal. Why? Because they're insecure about their work. Instead of saying, let me make this right for the patron, or let me make this right to the customer, they sit there and they argue about how to defend their work, and the customers have a negative experience and they never come back. Now, in that situation, who won the battle? Because the key is to have the customer to come back and to patronize your restaurant or your store or whatever. But if you're insecure about your work, I love watching what is it called, Restaurant Impossible, where my guy comes in and he saved drowning restaurants, and you get to see it's never the food, it's never okay. Let me say this: it's the food, it's the quality of food, but it's always 100% of the time the owner who he has to change. It's never the cooks, it's never the chefs. It's never the waiters. It's always the owner and the perception that their food is better than what it is. When he's doing the restaurant impossible, he didn't really change the restaurant. He always changed the owner. If I change the owner and the perception about the owner's work, I can get massive people in the restaurant. Robert Irvine, that's his recipe to turn around a drowning restaurant. Likewise, for a person that's looking for massive success in your life, if you never deal with the biggest investment you can make is in you. I just broke bread. Your biggest investment is not Dow Jones. Your biggest investment is not your 401k. Your biggest investment is not your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA, or your 529, or your children, or your husband. Your biggest investment is your self-development and growth. Why motivational teacher? Because if you change you, you change everything around you. Thank you, Angela. That's a bread-breaking moment. If you change you, I change everything around me. If I change what I know and what I believe about me, that's why I'm doing Awaken Your I Am. I change every relationship around me. I no longer have to be the loudest voice in the room in order to know that I'm appreciated. I no longer have to talk down about somebody else to put myself on a pedestal. I'm no longer involved in petty arguments because when a person walks by, they don't know which one of us is the fool. I'm no longer involved in all of those scenarios anymore because I have evolved. I have evolved. I was on a plane last night and I was watching the Billboard Awards with Diddy. And I love, and number one, I love seeing people at the top of the game, no matter what their game is. And I love the fact that DJ Khaled, I love the fact that all these people came out, all in support of Diddy hosting the show. And I love that Diddy said, we have evolved to winnery. That is not about me winning. It's about all of us winning. It's about everybody winning. Like the moment we evolve and we're not a crab in a barrel mindset anymore, we understand that it's about all of us. The world doesn't revolve around Anthony. The world doesn't revolve around Anthony's success. The world doesn't revolve around what I believe I should have. The world revolves around all of us manifesting our truth, the highest version of who we are. Oh my goodness, that's good. Manifesting the whole version of who we are and everything that's going on right now in this world is meant to hinder you from manifesting the highest. We can all get in. It's meant to keep you from manifesting the highest version of who you are. While you're worried about gas prices, while you're worried about your light bill, you're worried about these things. And trust me, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying that all those concerns shouldn't be at the forefront of your mind, but I am saying that in those moments, you got to trust that the great I am has already overcome the world. And I got to get back to what, Vaniqua? Build, baby, build, because in times of stress, your body is releasing norepinephrine, epinephrine, all these hormones stress you out. And in times of stress, you cannot build. So the enemy uses these moments to try to put the brakes on what I've been called to do, to try to hold me up, try to hinder my call and my purpose. But I'm telling you, in all these things, it sounds like an oxymoron. Be of good cheer. Oh my God, 90% of the things that we worry about never come to pass. I love the way that the Hebrew boys said it. That they said, man, when they threw him in that fiery furnace, they said whether he saves us or whether he doesn't, don't mean that he ain't the God of gods and the Lord of lords. It said whether he saves us or he doesn't, I still believe. Oh my God, that's a bread-breaking moment. If they turn my lights off, they can't turn my lights off because I'll let it shine no matter what. Boy, they're going to come open up, they're going to tell me to cut this thing down in a minute. I will still let my light shine. It's a bread-breaking moment right now. I know. Motivational teacher. We having to just get by. We can't eat like we used to. We living on beans and rice and beans. But look at it, man. You got manna coming from heaven. You eating. Find the good in what you got going on, because there's somebody right now that don't have rice and beans and beans and rice. You need to bless God because you got rice and beans and beans and rice, meaning that provision is being made. Now, I love the fact that when the children of Israel were out there in the wilderness, their clothes grew with them. They had manna for heaven. Provision is being made. In times like this, if you got to go to the gas station to get $5, go get $5, and then when you get to the next stop, God, he'll make a way for the next $5. Why? Because he clothed the lilies of the valley. How much more are you somebody that's on purpose? Now, I don't believe it's meant for us to live from a half a tank to a half a tank. I think it's meant for us to be able to pull to the gas station, fill up the tank every time we go. I think there's a life that God wants for us. If that's not you right now, it's okay, because we've all been there. We've all been there. Like, y'all know my story, man. Broke, busted, disgusted, didn't have 2 nickels, living in a room the size of a closet. So I'm not telling you something that I have not experienced. Foreclosure, I'm not telling you something that I have not went through. I have not lived through. I had a big old car, big old fancy car, and couldn't afford to put gas in it. I'm not telling you to trust anything that I haven't been through, but I'll tell you what I do know. Come here, Kurt Franklin. He's able. He's able. We got to allow the great I am to awaken our I am. And I know this message tonight is not going to be one that have you, let me say this. To the average ear, this won't have you running through the living room shouting, although Angela is right now. This is not one that's going to have you, sitting down looking at your life, reevaluating it. But I do want you to know, though, this is a message in times like these that needs to be heard. That it's okay sometimes. That we've all been there. And I think some people have the tendency to believe that my current state is always or will be my future state. And I came to challenge that thinking today, that your current state is not your future state. Your current state is your current state. But what you do in the now, I talked about it last week or week before last, what you do in this now determines your future state. If you're sitting down whining, complaining, and crying and wishing and doing all these different things other than starting to put a plan together, working in your personal development, working in your growth, then your tomorrow will not be any different. Your life will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you're spending time right now devising a plan, working on how the great I am, consulting the great I am about in which ways does he want to awaken your I am, and you're starting to work, and I love that you're starting to put the work in, then your life can be different. I got people chiming into this conversation. Angela said, our God will provide. Amen. I'm a living witness. He will never leave us nor forsake us. Amen. Thank you, Angela. Vanico said, I remember crying, trying to study because I had no help to help me with my daughter. But I pushed through and look at God. No excuses, and giving up. None. And it's in those times, man, where when you look back over those moments of your life, you say, man, like I know at those moments is when the great I am was carrying me. I know at that moment I had somebody that was with me. So I want to tell you all, thank y'all for chiming into this conversation. This was a quick one tonight. I'm at a remote location, but I felt the need to come on because I think in times like this, like hope is that we need hope, that we need joy, that we need peace. And I want you to be able to know that you can live, walk in peace, and man, like not have your sleep interrupted about what's going on. And I know some people tell me that I'm cruel. I'm pretty sure I get another email and that I'm harsh and that, I'm not empathetic enough about what's going on and what's happening to people. And, I think everybody is entitled to their opinion. And I'm okay if people believe that. But I do believe just what Angela just said, that we got to keep moving forward. Like I know what's going on in this world, but my destiny didn't change because of what happened in this world, or my destiny didn't change for what's going on, man. Like we got to get to the place where we, like I told you, bring all of you. I'm present with how I feel right now, but I'm so much present to know that I don't need to respond or react from these emotions. You understand? Like having the emotion isn't wrong. Responding from that emotion is what makes it wrong, and that what's cost us steps. It costs us steps or hinder our progression in the areas we should be going. Like that's what I'm saying. Like like you're not wrong to feel the way you feel. So own how you feel and be present and that emotion. I think the more present you are in that emotion, the less likely you are to respond in autopilot, which is if somebody said strikes this nerve in me, I have to reply and defend myself, or I have to snap and let them know exactly what it meant. Like I think like the more present we are aware of that response. So that's when I say bring all of you. Don't leave half of you back there. Bring all of you. Acknowledge the emotion. Acknowledge the hurt. Acknowledge the pain. And know that it's working a far better good on the inside of you if I learn how to manage it. I think a lot of disease in this earth is caused by internal pain where we're trying to hide it, or we're trying to cover it, or we don't want to pretend it exists. I'm saying know that it's there and understand that if you need to go sit on somebody's sofa, go do it. If you need to go have some kind of pastoral counseling, go do it. But understand that your greatest victory and your greatest answers lie within you, the great I am who's awakening your I am. I say, do what you can to protect your mental health. Do what you can to protect your mental health. Get rid of toxic people. Whatever you need to do to protect your mental health, I say do it, because that's vital and that's very important. And I say be present in your own mental health, understanding where or how I feel the emotions that I do. And when I'm talking to the great I am, he and I, or my counselor or my pastoral counseling, we can discuss this and help me learn what to do with these emotions. You understand what I'm saying? Help me understand what to do with these emotions. Because I got to say this, emotions are neither good nor bad. I think emotions just I locate where we are. When the children of Israel, their emotions located where they were at the moment because they were bitter, they were complaining, they were murmuring, they were doing everything except but breaking bread. What's up, Q? They were doing all, hey, Keisha, their emotions located them. So the emotion is not good nor bad. And I know a lot of times in the body, or a lot of times in the body, we've been told that if you have an emotion, you got to cast it out and do all these different things, which, listen, man, I'm not arguing all of those things. But I think when you suppress hurt from the past, when you suppress pain, you suppress anger, it shows up future as disease. And that's what I say, emotions are neither good nor bad. They locate where you are. And if you're having that emotion, it's time to talk about it, because that's another revelation of the great I am awakening your I am. Like I remember the day where my anger, my hate, I ain't gonna say hate, I'm gonna call that emotion anger. I remember the day when I released the anger for my father for not making it in my basketball games, not being really present in my life. I remember the day that I released that anger. I've been on this personal growth journey. My dad had passed away. I now got sons. And I came to the conclusion where I began to change the story that I was telling myself. And I came to the conclusion that my dad didn't even know who his dad was. Like, he couldn't have picked his dad out of lineup. I think I met my granddad, my dad's dad, at my dad's funeral, but I think that somebody told me that was him, but I've never seen or heard from him anymore. My dad didn't know his dad. I knew who my dad was. And my dad tried, when he was out of jail, out of prison, he tried to do the best that he could do. Without having a father, he did the best he could. And when I began to change the story that I was telling myself, it allowed me to release those negative emotions. And without me addressing those negative emotions, I would have continued to suppress that hurt, pain, and it would have been passed along to the next generation, which of my boys. But whom the Son set free is truly free indeed. And we got to play from that position that I'm not meant to hurt all the time, that I'm not meant to be in pain all the time, because I've been set free truly indeed. But if I don't begin to manage these emotions will soon manage me. That's a bread-breaking moment right there. If I don't manage these emotions will soon manage me. And a lot of us are still living in that hurt pain. We're still living in a past mistake or a past danger, and we're still living in that emotion. And a lot of decisions that we're making are from that emotion. I'm saying we got to change this. We got to change the story. We got to become full present and be awake and awaken our I am in that moment, in that situation. Trust me on this. You'll never move past what you're not willing to confront. Like if that's emotion, man, if that emotion lives on the inside, you'll never move beyond that emotion until you confront it. If you never confront that emotion, it will always control your life. When you see something that reminds you of that emotion, it triggers you back to that place and time of which you came to know that emotion. And your life, you will be controlled by your emotions. And I know this is not the Motivational Monday we popped on to here tonight, but it's so true in our lives that we're represented. All right, let me say this. At the molecular level, you know what we are? At the molecular level, we are 21 chromosomes with DNA, whatever you want to call it. Like we're chromosomes. At the molecular level, we're chromosomes. All we are with this dirt suit is a memory bank. This dirt suit creates a memory bank. Now, there'll be a moment where we won't be in this dirt suit, but all this dirt suit is, as good as this brown skin look, it's just a memory. It's just a memory bank in time. That's all it does. And it's so funny that we think all this stuff is real, that when you eat carbohydrates, all that food is doing, been broken down in your system as chine and being sent back out to your body as molecules. Being sent back as to your body as ATP, through the process of ATP, as molecules for your body to burn for energy or to store for fat. At the molecular level, we're all just molecules. Why do you think it takes a hydrogen and 2 oxygens to live? Like if you don't drink hydrogen and 2 oxygens on this earth, you can't live. Why? Because you got to feed your own molecules. And if we allow this memory bank to run my mind, my spirit, and my soul, if I allow this memory bank, then man, you know what? You're going to forfeit the majority of your life if you allow this memory bank to drive how you live your life. And that's the realest thing I could say on this Motivational Monday. If you don't manage your emotions will manage you. And in this day and time, and the times we're living in, with everything that's going on around us, with the war in Ukraine, with the shooting in Buffalo, with the price of gas prices and the price of milk and no baby formula, if you allow these things to manage you, you'll start to begin to hoard, because you'll feel like, man, I just got to put up everything I got for tomorrow. That's a spirit of poverty. And God doesn't want us the great I am doesn't want to awaken our I am to live in that state. He wants us, to whom the Son set free, to be free indeed. Don't be stupid, but I want you to be free to know that provision is already made for you. Don't be stupid, meaning that you be excessive in all that you do, trying to outperform your emotions. But what I'm saying is, don't live in fear. Don't live in doubt, and don't live in unbelief. Yo, it's your boy, the motivational teacher. I got Angela chiming into this conversation. Very well spoken. Williams, thank you. Jesus, thank you for chiming into this conversation, Angela. Vanico said, set yourself free. My boy Ryan said, your emotion locates where you are. That's all they do, is locate where we are and tell you where we are on a molecular level, so we can begin to change it on the molecular level. Man, I'm telling you, I'm saying it in this moment in time. I think this is a time where people need to hear it. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what's been laid up for you. Yeah, Q, is worth going to get from the beginning. Like there's something so special on the inside of you. Don't allow this environment to dictate what you believe about you. Don't allow this environment to dictate what you know about you. Don't allow this environment to drive your emotional state in this day or time. Know that the world has already be of good cheer because he's already overcoming. Y'all, it's your boy from a remote location coming to tell you again. Thank y'all for chiming into this conversation. Y'all have been phenomenal. I think the comments elevated the conversation tonight. And if you would, please tag 4 or 5 friends in this thing that you know are struggling in this moment right now. Tag them in this thing and say, listen to it in its entirety, because I know right now people need a word like this in a season like this. And until next time, I am challenging you all to wage war on mediocrity. Your boy is out.
It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war.